All right, so today we're going to be diving deep into the Hemkund Sahib Yatra in the Himalayas.
Oh, an excellent choice.
You're thinking about making this pilgrimage specifically in 2025.
Exciting.
And, we've got a stack of resources here to help you plan the ultimate spiritual adventure.
We do. And I know you're particularly interested in that helicopter guide.
Yeah, and we'll get to that. That's right. You shared a guide specifically about helicopter bookings for the Yatra.
Yes.
You're clearly thinking about taking that scenic route, huh?
It's certainly an option, and it's quite intriguing that you're drawn to it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it really speaks to maybe a different kind of pilgrimage experience, maybe one that prioritizes efficiency or maybe accessibility or something like that. But before we get into the logistics, let's talk about Hemkund Sahib itself. What awaits you there?
Okay.
Well, you got to imagine a glacial lake, right? Nestled high in the Indian Himalayas.
Wow.
Over 14,000 feet, surrounded by snow-capped peaks.
Oh, wow.
And it's not just a pretty place, right? It's profoundly religiously significant for Sikhs.
I've always been fascinated by those who undertake these challenging pilgrimages. And it's not just a vacation. There's a deeper purpose, a yearning, maybe for something more.
For sure.
And in this case, there are two very distinct paths to choose from. The traditional, physically demanding trek.
Yeah.
Or this modern marvel of a helicopter ride.
So it's a fascinating contrast.
Yeah. What would you say are the advantages or disadvantages of each?
Well, think about it. The trek, right, it's arduous. It's physically challenging.
Right.
But it offers this incredible sense of accomplishment.
Right.
And a really deep connection with the landscape. Not just the landscape itself, but also your fellow pilgrims.
Yeah.
You're suffering together. You're experiencing this together. It's a physical and mental test.
Yeah.
A journey of self-discovery.
So for somebody who thrives on pushing their boundaries, that might be their calling. But not everyone has the time or the physical capacity for that.
Right.
So that's where this helicopter option comes in. But is that, I'm curious, does choosing the helicopter route somehow diminish the spiritual significance?
Oh, that's a question that each pilgrim has to answer for themselves, right?
Right.
But the helicopter is definitely a practical solution, especially if you're limited by time or maybe you have some physical limitations. I mean, come on, think about the views.
The views, yeah.
Soaring above the peaks, breathtaking. But it comes at a price. Literally and figuratively. You're looking at around, maybe $3,500 to $4,000 per person for just a one-way ride.
Wow. Okay. So for about the price of a fancy dinner, you can trade hours of trekking for a breathtaking 8-minute flight over the Himalayas. But, there's also that wild card. What about Himalayan weather?
That's true.
I'd be nervous about booking a helicopter with those unpredictable mountain winds.
Yeah, you're right to be cautious. The mountains, they have their own schedule,
Right.
And things can change so quickly.
Yeah. So flexibility is key when it comes to that helicopter option.
Right.
Delays, cancellations, it's always a possibility. Yep. So have a plan B. Don't rely on the helicopter alone. Remember, the journey itself is a significant part of this pilgrimage. And even if the helicopter isn't an option, the trek offers its own rewards. Okay, so let's say our listener is leaning towards the trek. We've established it's challenging, but, what does that really mean, practically speaking? Mm-hmm. If somebody's picturing themselves conquering those Himalayan trails, what kind of training regimen should they realistically be thinking about?
Well, let's be honest. It's not for the faint of heart. Think cardio, lots of it, running, cycling, swimming, anything that builds endurance.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be trekking uphill for hours, often at high altitudes with thin air.
So it's not just physical fitness, but also acclimating to the altitude. Right?
Absolutely. Spending time in Ghangaria, which is the base camp, before heading up to Hemkund Sahib is crucial. And Ghangaria itself is really fascinating. It's a small town, but during Yatra season, it transforms into this vibrant hub. Imagine sharing stories with fellow travelers over chai, against a backdrop of snow-capped peaks. It's an experience in itself.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So speaking of preparing for the journey, once you've reached Ghangaria, you'll want a cozy place to rest. What are the options for accommodation?
You have a few choices, each with its own unique appeal. Many pilgrims choose to stay at gurudwaras, which offer communal accommodation. Very simple, but it's a chance to immerse yourself in the spiritual atmosphere. Others might prefer hotels or guest houses, which range from, basic to quite luxurious.
So there's something for every budget and comfort level.
Exactly.
But I imagine that accommodation in Ghangaria is pretty limited, especially during the Yatra season.
Oh, you're absolutely right. Advanced booking is essential, especially if you're picky about where you want to stay. Online platforms are a good place to start, but you can also contact the hotels directly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't procrastinate on those bookings.
No.
Now, what if our listeners feeling a bit overwhelmed by all this planning, all these logistics? Is there like a more structured or maybe a less DIY approach to this pilgrimage?
There is. That's where Hemkund Sahib Yatra packages come in.
Okay.
They can be a game changer for those who prefer a more organized, hassle-free experience.
So instead of piecing together all the different elements of the journey, these packages sort of bundle it all together. What kind of services do they usually include?
Well, you name it, they've got it. Transportation, accommodation in Ghangaria, meals. They even offer guided assistance.
Wow.
Throughout the entire journey.
So all you need to do is show up with that adventurous spirit and a good pair of hiking boots.
Pretty much. Yep.
That sounds tempting, but I imagine these packages come in, different flavors.
Of course.
How do the costs vary? What should people be looking for when choosing a tour operator?
Yeah, the cost varies a lot, depending on duration, the type of accommodation, the services they provide. For example, a basic 4-day package might start around $10,000 per person, while a more luxurious one, with bells and whistles, could be up to $15,000 or more.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's like choosing your level of adventure, right?
Right.
Budget-friendly and immersive, or opting for those extra comforts along the way.
That's it.
But how do you know who to trust when there are so many tour operators?
Yeah, well, reputation is everything. You really want to look for those companies with positive reviews, a proven track record for safety, and a genuine commitment to responsible tourism. Do your research, read testimonials, and find an operator that aligns with your values and expectations.
All right, so we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
Trekking versus helicopter, training tips, accommodation options, even those handy packages. It sounds like we've given our listener a solid foundation for planning their yatra. But before we move on, there are a few essential things to keep in mind that go beyond logistics. We're talking about those unpredictable mountains themselves, health precautions, and of course, being a responsible traveler. What are your thoughts on those crucial considerations? Well, yeah, it's easy to get caught up in the planning and all those details. Right. But we can't forget about, the heart of this journey, the spiritual significance of Hemkund Sahib itself.
Yeah, what makes this place so revered by Sikhs?
Well, Hemkund Sahib is intrinsically linked to Guru Gobind Singh, the 10th Sikh guru. Okay. And it's believed to be the very spot where he meditated in a previous life.
Wow.
And the Gurudwara that's standing there today is a testament to that spiritual journey.
Right.
So pilgrims are literally walking in the footsteps of the guru.
That must be an incredibly powerful feeling.
It is. But what about the journey itself? We've talked about the challenges and the logistics. How does that actually contribute to the spiritual experience, the act of undertaking this pilgrimage?
Yeah, for Sikhs, the Hemkund Sahib Yatra is deeply personal. It's like a physical and spiritual test of devotion and endurance. And the act of reaching this site, whether it's by foot or by air, is believed to bring blessings and spiritual purification.
I can only imagine the sense of accomplishment that pilgrims must feel upon reaching Hemkund Sahib. To stand at that altitude, surrounded by those peaks, after days of trekking, or even after a short helicopter ride, it must feel like a true triumph of mind and spirit.
It's not just about the destination, though, is it?
Right.
It's about the entire journey, the challenges you face along the way, those moments of reflection, the camaraderie you experience with your fellow pilgrims. All those elements contribute to the transformative nature of this yatra.
It's like a moving meditation, stripping away the distractions of daily life. You're able to reconnect with something deeper within yourself.
Exactly, yeah. It's not just about checking off another destination on your bucket list.
Right.
But it's about immersing yourself in this whole experience, allowing yourself to be changed by it.
Yeah, and that transformation, it can take many forms. It's not just about strengthening your faith, but also about discovering hidden strengths within yourself.
Yeah.
Pushing boundaries, maybe redefining what you thought you were capable of.
Absolutely. And don't forget about the impact of the natural environment itself. This is a journey through some of the most stunning landscapes on Earth. The Himalayas, that pristine air, the meadows. It awakens your senses and you connect with something so much larger than yourself.
That actually reminds me, we talked about the importance of respecting the environment and the local customs.
Yes.
Given how many pilgrims there are, it's important that, as visitors, we minimize our impact on this fragile ecosystem and honor this sacred space.
Right. Responsible tourism is paramount. In a place like Hemkund Sahib, We have a duty to protect this environment, not just for ourselves, but for future generations.
So what are some practical steps that pilgrims can take to make sure they're traveling responsibly and respectfully?
Well, simple things can make a big difference. Pack out everything that you pack in. Leave no trace. Avoid single-use plastics. Bring a reusable water bottle and just refill it. Be mindful of your waste disposal. These small actions all add up, and they help preserve the integrity and beauty of the environment.
So it's about minimizing our footprint, being mindful, and recognizing that we are guests in this space.
Exactly.
But responsible travel extends beyond just environmental considerations.
Sure, yeah.
It's also about respecting the local culture, the
Yeah.
customs.
Absolutely. Dress modestly. Be mindful of your behavior. Avoid loud noises or disturbances that might disrupt the peaceful atmosphere. Engage with the local communities. Learn about their traditions. Try the local food. Appreciate that unique cultural tapestry that makes this journey even more special.
So it's about going beyond just being a tourist. You want to become a traveler, someone who wants to understand and appreciate the place they're visiting, both the wonders and the heritage.
Exactly. Responsible travel is about approaching this entire experience with humility, gratitude, and a willingness to learn and to grow from it. It's about leaving that place better than you found it.
Speaking of growth and transformation, I think it's also important to acknowledge that there's an element of uncertainty that is inherent in any journey, especially one as challenging as this.
Sure.
No matter how meticulously you plan, things happen, right?
Right.
Weather can be unpredictable, flights are delayed, unexpected obstacles can arise. How do you think that this element of uncertainty can actually enhance the pilgrimage experience?
Oh, that's a great point. It's a reminder that we're not always in control. And sometimes the most profound experiences come from embracing the unknown and allowing ourselves to be surprised by the journey.
So letting go of our need to control everything and be open to those detours and unexpected challenges. It's about trusting the process, allowing ourselves to be shaped by the experience even when things don't go according to plan.
It is. It's true. Sometimes those unplanned moments become the most memorable parts of any trip, the ones that really test you.
Exactly. It's like the saying goes, life is what happens when you're busy making other plans.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's part of what makes the Hemkund Sahib Yatra so special.
Yeah.
It's not like a theme park,
Right.
It's a real adventure that requires more from us.
It does. It's a challenge.
Yeah.
Pushing you beyond what you think you can do.
Right. And I think that can lead to some really profound personal growth.
I think so, too.
Thinking about the trekkers, they're just putting one foot in front of the other day after day, facing exhaustion, altitude sickness, the weather.
Yeah, it's really inspiring.
Yeah, it really is a testament to what we can endure.
It is.
And, as we've been talking about this whole thing, I keep coming back to this idea of transformation. It's not just about getting there. It's about being changed by the journey.
That's the whole point of a pilgrimage, isn't it? A journey outward and inward, shedding the old and becoming new.
Yeah.
And Hemkund Sahib, with its challenges, its devotion, and that scenery, it really seems to offer the recipe for that kind of change.
It does. It's like a crucible. Testing your endurance, pushing you to your absolute limit.
It makes you face those vulnerabilities.
I have to.
And in that moment, something amazing happens.
Yeah.
You find strength you didn't know you had. You learn to adapt, to keep going, to lean on others.
And you come out stronger.
Transformed inside and out.
It's like a metaphor for life.
Isn't it?
We face challenges, we make mistakes, we fall down.
We do.
But we learn and we grow from it.
We become more resilient.
Yeah. And Hemkund Sahib, with all its challenges and triumphs, is like a perfect example of that.
It really is a chance to practice that resilience, be thankful, and connect with something bigger.
And we can't forget about the sense of community.
Oh, absolutely.
All these different people united in this one goal, supporting each other through it all.
That's powerful.
Whether it's sharing food, helping each other on the trail, or just a kind word,
Yeah.
Those bonds can last a lifetime.
They can. It's beautiful how hardship and laughter can bring people together.
It really shows that we're not alone in our struggles.
We're not.
There's strengths in unity.
Definitely.
We can do amazing things together.
We can.
And that feeling of being connected goes beyond just us,
That's true.
It's about feeling connected to something bigger than ourselves.
It is.
The Hemkund Sahib Yatra takes you through some of the most incredible landscapes in the world.
It does.
Those peaks, the meadows.
It's humbling.
It makes you realize that we're just a small part of something much bigger.
It's awe-inspiring.
And that can be life-changing.
It can?
That can change the way you see things, make you appreciate more, and encourage you to live in a better way.
Absolutely. More sustainably in harmony with our planet.
Yeah, and as we wrap up this deep dive into the Hemkund Sahib Yatra, I'm struck by how much this experience offers.
Me too.
It's physical, emotional, spiritual, and about our connection with nature.
It is.
Everyone's journey is unique.
Yeah.
But there's something about resilience, connection, and change that speaks to everyone.
It really does.
So for our listener who's thinking about making this pilgrimage in 2025, what would you say to them? What advice would you give?
Go with an open mind and an open heart. Be respectful of everything around you. Embrace the challenges. Enjoy the beauty and let the whole thing change you. And remember, it's the journey itself that matters.
Beautifully said. And to our listener, we wish you a safe and meaningful and unforgettable journey on your Hemkund Sahib Yatra. May you find what you are looking for and come back transformed by the experience.